Bloomington City Council on today's date of April 23rd, 2026. And I would ask that everyone please stand for the national anthem and Pledge of Allegiance. Next, we'll move to the roll call, please.
Councilmember Kearns? Here. Councilmember Mosley? Councilmember Motney? Here. Councilmember Danneberger?
Here.
Councilmember Straza?
Here.
Councilmember Hendricks?
Here.
Councilmember Ward? Here. Councilmember Lee?
Here.
Councilmember Scott? Here. Mayor Brady?
Here. Next, we'll move to, is there any public comment tonight, Clerk?
We have no registered public comment.
Thank you. Next, we'll go, since we do not have any items on the consent agenda, we will move directly then to our regular agenda, which is a overview and discussion on the April 17th tornado response. And at this time, I'll turn things over to our city manager, Mr. Jeff Jurgens.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Appreciate everybody arranging their schedules to attend this special meeting. Lance, if you could go ahead and put up my presentation. We were going to be brief tonight, and if staff wants to go ahead and come on up, going to just give an update on what happened on Friday night, and then also give a little bit of an update in terms of the response and where we are. Next slide, please. So the latest update from the National Weather Service, originally there was indications that there were 2 EF1 tornadoes that went through the city. It turns out that it ended up just being one very long one. And if you go to the next slide, this is a little bit closer in and give some specific details on the tornado. Ended up being over 20 miles long, which is certainly on the longer end of how long a tornado typically is on the ground. You can see the upper line is the tornado that went through the town of Normal. The lower line is what went through the city of Bloomington. And if you looked at the right hand of that slide, you can see the self-report damages, which, you know, very clearly aligns with both lines of the tornadoes. Next slide. Just a quick administration update. I just want to say how much I appreciate all of the city staff coming together. We were communicating Friday during the event throughout the night, and then early morning by 9 o'clock, we had all gathered and working with Kathy Beck from the county EMA. She invited us to come to the Emergency Operations Center at the county. So we were there throughout the day on Saturday, helping to coordinate and organize and assess and figure out what truly had happened. But we had representatives from Public Works, from Parks, Police, Fire, Engineering, Water, and then all of the crews on the ground that were involved, and they were all absolutely amazing and absolutely appreciate all of their involvement. Our attorney, Chris Spanos, offered to come over, but I asked him to stay put and draft the emergency declaration that we ended up doing later in the afternoon. So just really can't say enough. We train, as I've told the council before, we train for events like this. And in this situation, I really believe our training paid off, and just cannot say enough about the team that the city has and how proud I was of everybody. Just a couple of numbers up there. During the event, we had 104 911 calls, non-emergency calls 148, and then fire had 78 calls. We have been working since Saturday with the county EMA, and again, Kathy Beck is here, and truly appreciate her coordination and her assistance. Also been working with the Red Cross. We were very fortunate in this event. We do believe there are some people that had to be relocated. We believe that's under 20 people, but according to the Red Cross, nobody has taken shelter from them. So people have been perhaps couch surfing or going to stay with relatives or friends. But the Red Cross has been on site, and we are working with them to help get services to people. We've also been working closely with the IEMA, the realtors, the chamber, Ameren, who had so many people without power. They were in constant contact with us as well, and we really appreciate that. And then finally, before I turn it over to our real crews here, just want to say we are encouraging people to report any damage that they had. You can go to our city website. The forms are very simple. There's a form for residents. There's a form for businesses. We need to collect that information to see if we are going to qualify for any potential relief and if we can continue to move that up the chain with the state and then the federal government. At this point, we have 151 self-reports of damage just in the city of Bloomington alone. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Public Works and our director, Mose Ricky, to give an update. If you can go to the next slide.
I appreciate it. Thank you, council, mayor, city manager. Before I get started, as you can see, there's information up on this slide, but I can't begin to express how proud I am of everyone in the Public Works Department. I'll be up here giving you information, but I want you to know that all the successes that we encountered and we have achieved are directly responsible for the men and women who are doing the jobs out there on the streets and answering the phones in our department and giving the residents information. You know, while everything is going crazy, those dedicated city workers are out there away from their families, away from their loved ones, away from their free time, taking care of these situations for us. So as you can see, we started the event on the 17th. I believe our first staff ran around 10:30. We had issues with a lot of the different setups we had for infrastructure programs being ran in town. So those need to be addressed as they were being blown all over the town. That took quite a bit, as well as bringing in staff to clear roadways for the traveling public the best we could where it was safe. In this storm, which was a consideration for us, is the fact that we didn't want to put any of our staff in danger, and there were quite a few electrical power lines that were down in this storm. So that posed quite a challenge for us. And until that had been assessed and had been mitigated, we were a little bit limited in where we could go. We did have coming Sunday, we went into full throttle. We had crews that were out picking up all the different areas that have been hit after we had assessed which ones were hit the worst. We have so to date, at the end of Wednesday, taken 250 truckloads out of the town so far. Operations are still continuing. We're still gathering all the data that we have in regards to hours worked and number of loads that will be disposed of. One of the biggest things I say is these initiatives for cleanup continue, is the fact that if people who are parking on the roads could make sure they're not parking beside or in front of any of the brush piles, that makes it much more difficult for our crews to get the job done and ultimately to give the resident what they want, right? Which is to make sure that we can get that brush cleared up from in front of their residents. So we do advise that they try to stay at least 10 feet away when possible or where possible. It could be a short-term headache, but in the long run, it'll go a long way for them getting their debris picked up even faster. And I think you'll be hearing about it. I think that on May 1st, the formal cleanup will be completed. And of course, that does not mean if there's anything that's still out there or needs to be picked up that we will not pick it up. It'll be involved in our normal operations. One thing I'm also very proud of is that even in the cleanup efforts from this storm, in our solid waste division, our solid waste division operations were not affected. We didn't have to cease any of our normal operations. So not only were we able to carry out this cleanup effort, but we were able to offer to residents all their normal offerings that we would usually offer them in our solid waste program. And that's all I have.
Lance, if you could go to the next slide.
Thank you, City Manager Jurgens, Mayor, Council. Glad to give a Parks and Recreation update tonight. I would like to echo what Mose Ricky just said. I am very proud of our team and the relationship that we have with Public Works. We worked in tandem and we started, Parks and Recreation started Friday night at about 11 p.m. Our forestry crews have been working up to 10 to 12 hours a day since. We have spent about 372 man hours so far in the forestry division, parks maintenance, and at our golf course, because Highland Park Golf Course was hit as well. Forestry crews have completed about 70 storm damage work orders as of yesterday. 4 of those were city trees on houses, 3 were on cars. We have 197 more work orders yet to be completed for the storm. And please understand, even though we're well past the storm. More still could come in, as in tree hangers and other items that the wind could affect from the event itself. The worst hit for Parks and Recreation in the parks were actually Clearwater Park and Stevenson Park, and I already mentioned Highland Park Golf Course. Our team has gotten Highland, so it's a playable course, so that's not an issue. A point of note, if you are not aware, the silver maple is an undesirable street tree due to weak wood and aggressive roots that damage sewer lines. Why does that matter? Holiday Knolls subdivision was 80% silver maples, which was the hardest hit area. These were planted in the 1940s and 1970s, and so you can feel safe, silver maples are no longer planted on city property per ordinance. We now follow the tree planting program of the International Society of Arboriculture, and we will continue to maintain what they recommend. Tonight, if I could just share a quick shout out to, we have Dave Lamb with us, who is the city forester. We have Jeff Heinman, who was the park superintendent, who spent his weekend working on this. And we have Tom Rakestraw, who got thrown into the position of working directly for the city manager on the communication piece over the weekend. I'd like to recognize them. Also like to recognize our support staff, the 699 members in Parks and Public Works. And on a separate note, but tree related, would like to note that you've received an invitation, that'd be mayor, council, and city manager, to an Arbor Day celebration at 10 a.m. at Benjamin School tomorrow. And what are we going to do? We're going to plant a tree. So that's good timing.
Thank you, Eric. And Lance, if you could go to the next slide. And there are other, I think, tree programs. So if people lost a tree, there are certainly, I think Ameren's got a program, and there are some other programs that we can help connect them with. I also just want to say thank you to Deputy City Managers Billy Tice and Sue McLaughlin, who were there the entire time and helping to get all of this organized as well. So again, just what I truly appreciate the response from all of the crews and the people on the ground who were out there. It was a mess. It could have been a lot worse. We're very thankful that nobody was hurt, and just appreciative of the community's patience as we work through this. We're happy to answer any specific questions anybody may have at this time.
Any questions? Okay. Oh, sorry. Member Ward.
Thank you to everybody for all the hard work you've been doing over the last few days. I do have a couple of questions. I may be one of two people on council who was on council in June of 2021. And I don't know if you all have an answer to this, but I am curious to know how the impact of this storm compares to the impact of the previous one in 2021. And maybe it's too early to tell because we're still tallying figures and so on. But at some point, I would be very interested to know that. I'd also be very interested to know if there are lessons that we took away from the June 2021 storm and response that helped us in this instance. And are there things that based on this experience you would continue to do differently?
Great question. So I cannot answer specifically yet as to the differences with the 2021 response. I wasn't involved with that. We'll have to see who was, but we will get those answers for you. And there are certainly things we will be debriefing and going back through and figuring out what we could have done better, what we would change, and certainly what we can improve upon. One thing I just want to note real quick, Anthony Nelson isn't here. They had 2 Bison games where the tornado warnings went off during the games. After the first game, and we all know Anthony by now and his dedication to continuous improvement and making things better, they had actually put into place new protocols to improve the response if they were to get an emergency like that. So they were able to test those just, I think, 2 weeks after that initial warning. So there's always things that we can learn and we can do better, and we will certainly be taking a look at after this response.
Other members? Okay. Next, we're going to move to item B on our agenda, which is the presentation and discussion if you wish, regarding the approval of the proposed continued declaration of local disaster emergency, which is why we're all here. Thank you to all the department directors who've come up. And Mr. Jurgens, if you want to walk us through that, if we can get ready here for a vote.
Yes, and actually, happy to answer any questions on this, as well as Corporation Counsel Chris Spanos. On Saturday, the mayor of Normal, the county chairman, and Mayor Brady all issued separate local emergency declarations. That is really the first step in obviously declaring an emergency and seeing if potentially we could qualify for any additional relief or assistance. And so under our ordinances, the mayor is allowed to extend those a couple of times up to 7 days. After that, it requires the council to vote to extend it. So that is why we are all meeting here today. We do believe, since we are still in the cleanup process and still getting some assessments out, that is worthy to continue to extend that declaration, as has the town, and I believe the county has as well. So happy to answer any questions on that.
And are there questions from council regarding the declaration? This time I then would need a motion from member Straza. Is there a second? Second from member Hendricks. And if you would go ahead and take the electronic vote, please, Madam Clerk.
So we're gonna do a
Voice vote.
voice vote.
Votes for it, I'm sorry.
No.
Okay.
Councilmember Kearns?
Yes.
Councilmember Motney?
Yes.
Councilmember Dannenberger?
Yes.
Councilmember Straza?
Yes.
Councilmember Hendricks?
Aye.
Councilmember Ward?
Aye.
Councilmember Lee?
Yes.
Councilmember Scott?
Yes.
Mayor Brady?
Yes. Thank you. That takes care of our immediate action needed. And I want to thank all the members for coming in on such short notice and for being here on behalf of all your wards and the entire city. With that being said, I know there's some people who have a couple comments and we want to get to those. But if I could, because I know she's on short time, earlier I had asked that Kathy Beck come to the meeting tonight. And Kathy is our McLean County Emergency Management Agency Director. And when we were there over the weekend, on Saturday in particular, and prior to that, Friday evening, really early Saturday morning, as we went through Councilman Straza's area, the hardest hit in Howling Hills, consistently when we talked to people, we asked them where they were, was everybody, all the questions you asked. And consistently people would say, we were in our basement. And so when I had the opportunity to ask who actually set off the alarms, the sirens, and that was the director, Kathy Beck. So I think on behalf of the city council, if you would stand up, let us give you a round of applause for making the difference in keeping people safe, because there were no injuries and no deaths. Thank you, Kathy. Thank you very much for doing not only your job, but amazingly well. So thank you. With that, I think there might be some comments from members. I know Member Straza had some comments regarding the storm.
Yes, again, thank you for your team, Kathy. It was amazing. The timing, the response, people listened, it saved lives, it keep people from being injured. So thank you again. Going through that, as you look at that list, the top, I don't know whether it was 5 or 6 areas that are affected. 3 or 4 of those were my area, the Ward 5. So there was a lot of damage, destruction, houses, cars. I'm still reaching out to people to make sure they're getting the help they need, make sure things have been cleared out. There are some people that still are needing help just because they don't have the finances to remove things. So I'm trying to organize that right now to get some people some more assistance. I definitely will. But yeah, everyone came together. What the thing was amazing to me, and the mayor was out with me and several other people. The neighbors of each block came together and they cleaned up. They're helping each other out, trying to dig things out of there, getting people so they can get their vehicles out. They can be able to function even though they didn't have power. So people still got their chainsaws out. They were trying to help them out in a safe manner. And I warned them multiple times, please stay away from any power lines. No matter if you think they're alive or not, please stay away from them because they will come back on sooner or later. So a lot of people pretty much in my area, they did not see power till after 1 o'clock on Sunday. So they were out with power from 9 o'clock on Friday to Sunday afternoon. So again, they work together, and it was great to see a community at that area to really come together and work together, and knowing they're being patient and working with Public Works, everyone that's in with the city, and also working with Ameren. Everyone was very kind and just saying, hey, we're trying to do our best to get this thing up and going. So thank you again for whoever who was involved in it, and this the support. And again, it showed that something we prepared for that has been set up by our county, by our city, that it does work. There's always room for improvement, but again, this really worked well to where it's like, it's great to see that we can come together in times of this and really make, people feel safe. Thank you again.
Thank you. Other members of the council that have comments? I'm sorry.
Well,
Member
I just wanted to thank you, Councilmember Straza and Mayor Brady, for your visibility out in Ward 5. I heard from friends that live in that area. You guys were out there for a long time and did a lot of work, and it was really noticed by the people who were living there. So thank you so much for being great public servants.
Thank you. Anyone else? If not, just a couple closing comments real quick. As mayor, and I know all of you joined me on this, that your goal was mine, and that was, we jointly shared it together, and that was to assure the community that help and resources were on their way for the residents of Bloomington, and that was done. And we've thanked so many that stepped up the plate and did it. And another thing that I noted that I really want to emphasize as well was the utility companies, Ameren, Corn Belt, personally where our home was damaged. The response was, in working through the nights for those individuals, was simply amazing, and we thank them as well. But really, the cooperation among city, the town, the county, the state, it was efficient and effective, like it should be. And all I can say is there's no IRA team, and we all proved it these past several days. So thanks to each and every one of you and to the residents for taking care of each other of the city of Bloomington. So with that, unless there's other comments from anyone or any other issues, items, I believe we just need a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
Bonnie, seconded by Member Hendricks. All in favor, say aye. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.